Herzlich willkommen, meine Damen und Herren. Freitag, Abschluss der Woche, den beginnen wir zu feiern mit einer weiteren Ausgabe von The Show. Tada!
Ja, letzter Tag der Woche, aber heute ein ganz, ganz tolles Thema.
Den
heute
feiern wir richtig ab.
Den feiern wir so richtig. Wir haben fantastische Themen, tolle Spiele, später noch tolle News und auch tolle Gesprächsgäste. Heute ein einziges Thema, das aber so komplex ist, im wahrsten Sinne des Wortes, dass wir da mit mehreren Menschen direkt drüber sprechen möchten und müssen. Und zwar geht es um das Thema, wie real ist virtuell oder wie real sind virtuelle Welten?
Ja, absolut. Gerade jetzt in Zeiten, wo MMOs aus dem Boden sprießen wie Unkraut und immer mehr Online-Projekte auch ins Leben gerufen werden. Nicht nur jetzt Rollenspiele, sondern auch zum Beispiel Second Life, was ja quasi eine Lebenssimulation im virtuellen Raum ist, stellt sich natürlich die Frage, wie real ist tatsächlich virtuell und was kann es alles ersetzen?
Ja, vor allen Dingen Massively Multiplayer Online-Rollenspiele, aber eben auch die beliebten Sandbox-Spiele, GTA sei da genannt, die echte Welten quasi simulieren, in denen man unheimlich viele Sachen machen kann. Wir erinnern uns an GTA 4, wo man, weiß ich nicht, vom Bowling bis Dart und Poolbillard, man kann einfach was trinken gehen, bis hin zu...
Man hat vor allen Dingen echte Freunde, um die man sich kümmern muss.
So. Ja,
wenn man sich die rufen dann an und wenn man sie ein paar Mal vernachlässigt, dann rufen sie nicht mehr an. Ja?
Exakt, also man muss in vielen Spielen heutzutage wirklich soziale Kompetenzen beweisen, damit man überhaupt ans Ziel kommt. Und wir wollen uns natürlich heute die Frage stellen, wohin führt die Reise, wohin führt der Weg, was erwartet uns in Zukunft, wie aufwendig ist es aber auch zum Beispiel für Entwickler, so eine Welt zu kreieren, darzustellen, worauf muss man achten, was sind vielleicht auch die Gefahren, weil letztendlich spielt man ja auch Videospiele eigentlich, um der Realität zu entkommen und wenn es dann vielleicht zu real ist, ist es dann auch nicht mehr gut.
Interessant, ja?
Ja, interessant. Zu dem Thema wollen wir heute, ich weiß nicht, ist er schon da, liebe Regie? Ich höre nichts. Ach so, ja. Das ist interessant, denn wir haben einen tollen Gesprächspartner und zwar ist das Erling Ellingsen. Er ist Product Manager von Funcom. Das sind die Jungs, die Age of Conan gemacht haben, also auch ein Massively Multiplayer Online-Rollenspiel und er kennt sich natürlich auch mit virtuellen Welten aus und ich freue mich sehr, dass er uns jetzt zugeschaltet ist. Ich muss dazu sagen, er ist Norweger, deshalb sprechen wir auf Englisch, weil mein Norwegisch nicht ganz so gut ist. Hi Erling, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good, thank you.
I don't know, you probably don't speak very good German, so let me translate you what our main topic is today. Our main topic is that we talk about virtual worlds and
right.
how real they are or how real they are becoming. And we talked about massively multiplayer online role-play games such as Age of Conan, but also the sandbox games such as GTA 4 and so on. So what is your take on real or unreal worlds or virtual worlds? How do you achieve a goal when you try to produce a virtual world?
Right, that's a good question. I mean, for us as MMO developers, when we try to create a virtual world, if it's Anarchy Online or Age of Conan, we try to create a world that you can sort of live in. I mean, a game that has so many different features that it doesn't feel like when you don't feel like you're sitting down to only play a game. You actually feel like you're sitting down to immerse yourself into a world. So it's all the different aspects, combat, character advancement, but also the social interactions, like meeting other players and building up relationships and guilds and so on. And that's our main goal when we set out to do a virtual world. We want to create the whole package, like basically a second life, to to use the name of another virtual world.
Yeah, but talking about Second Life, that's a good point, because usually I would say that people people play video games or computer games because they want to escape the reality. But if we take a look at the latest games that are very successful, such as Age of Conan, of course, but also World of Warcraft or GTA 4, it seems that the games are becoming real, more and more real, and I'm not quite sure if where this will go. You know, because yeah.
Yeah, if you look at games like World of Warcraft and Age of Conan and so on, they're a pretty far cry away from reality. I mean, it's not a substitution to reality. I mean, these are games where you're killing orcs and you're killing 100 feet tall yetis like in Age of Conan and so on. So I think actually Age of Conan and World of Warcraft is more like an escape from reality. At least those types of games. But of course, as you're saying, if you look to games like Second Life and so on, they are indeed trying to emulate more the way our lives are, for instance. So, and I think those types of games are growing more and more popular. I mean, even 10 years ago, nobody would have thought that a game where you were controlling little people, taking them to the bathroom and taking them a shower would actually make a good game. And then they made The Sims, and it sold millions of copies.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see the same in the MMO genre, actually. We're going to see more games that are trying to simulate real life. You know, for instance, Second World and even The Sims Online, even though that didn't do quite as well as they hoped to, I think.
What do you think is so interesting about, you said, emulating the real world? I mean, we have the real world, but we play computer games to actually see our character shower, and in the real world, some people don't even shower. Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is crazy, but I mean, I think it's the challenge. You know, you live a life where you work in an office, and when you want to do something exciting, you go to the cinema and so on. I think people just want that escape from reality, even though it's escaping into a different reality. It's just sitting down and trying to live a different life. It's like if you're walking around in the real world, having a real life, and you got the chance to try out life from a different angle. And I think that's what games are all about. And it's also about what online games are about. If it's Age of Conan or The Sims Online, you have the chance to jump into another character and make different decisions and see how that actually impacts whatever happens in the world.
It always made me wonder when I saw people playing World of Warcraft, and they, in the game, they try to learn fishing, and
yes.
I don't, or cooking, for that matter, you know, but they can't cook for real in the real world. So if I spend hours and hours learning cooking, learn to cook in the game, wouldn't it make more sense to learn cook the real way?
That's a good question. I would say do both, actually. I mean, when you do it in real life, it's in order to get food for yourself so you can actually eat and survive. I think when you learn cooking in World of Warcraft, it's to face a challenge and achieve something and make your character better. It's basically a game, you know. You try and, if in Tetris you try and reach the high score, in World of Warcraft you try to get the highest cooking. It's all about the game and the getting to the top, basically. I think that's what games are all about.
So do you think there is a limit on what should be implemented into a game, like, I don't know, bringing your car to a gas station and fuel it up because that's more annoying than it's fun? Is there a limit where you would say, okay, it's probably real, but I don't want it in the game?
I'm sure there are things you don't want to do. You probably don't want to iron your shirts in an online game, for instance.
Yeah.
But as long as you can make that whole thing interesting and fun, like in The Sims Online. I mean, in The Sims, the offline game, you have to take your character to the bathroom. Now, that's a very boring thing to do, but if you're doing it in order to bring down that the need to go to the bathroom in order to do something else, it becomes a game, it becomes a challenge. You know, it becomes something you have to do in order to reach a goal. And I think if you somehow manage to translate that into a game where you fuel your car and make it something fun and interesting, I'm sure you can do whatever you want. I really hope there's not going to be any limit to what people do in terms of bringing reality into games. I hope that in a few years we're going to have holodecks like in Star Trek, and you can go in there and just live an actual life, just a different life than your own, so you can actually try and live life in different ways, you know. Don't go through life just living your one life, but actually trying life from different angles. And I think that's what online gaming is going to do in the future. Could
you imagine a game where what you play as a player affects what you do in real life? Like, for example, you go into Age of Conan is a bad example because it's a fantasy world, so it's kind of hard to talk about it. But let's just use Age of Conan as an example. For instance, we go to in Age of Conan. I go somewhere and I buy. There's a terminal. Let's say Age of Conan, the future game, the sci-fi game. Okay, I'm just building something here. And I go to a terminal, and in the game, I do grocery shopping, and it's delivered to my real-world address. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to happen eventually. Somewhere down the road, I mean, they're even trying. Even now, they've already started connecting real-world money into online worlds, like they did with Project Entropia or Entropia Universe. It's that you actually spend real-world money in order to buy things in the game, and I think it's going to be very interesting, as you say, when they do it in reverse, when you actually do things in game to get something in the real world. I think it's only a matter of years away from happening, and I'm sure there's going to be many debates and discussions on where to draw the line, and there's going to be people saying that no, we can't take the world into this direction where we're turning it into the Matrix or something like that. But that's technology adapts. You can't stop technology, and I'm sure that sometime in the future you will be. Perhaps we will all be able to hook ourselves up to some sort of internet via our mind and stroll around and buy things and get it delivered to our door. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Okay, then we're looking forward to Age of Conan, the sci-fi game. Yeah,
we already have a sci-fi game, Anarchy Online.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that one. Thanks for answering our questions to that very interesting topic. Erling Ellingsen, Product Manager von Age of Conan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ja, ich übersetze es später, weil wir jetzt kaum noch Zeit haben und wir wollen noch ein bisschen was von den News haben. Deshalb gibt es jetzt den Newsflash.
Sind übrigens leere Versprechen, der wird es niemals übersetzen. Aber dafür hält er ein Versprechen, nämlich den des Newsflash, der kommt jetzt. Es gibt ein erstes Update zu Spore, die Evolutionssimulation, schickt ein 92 Megabyte großes Fix-Update nach. Das könnt ihr euch jetzt runterladen, behebt einige Bugs und verhindert einige Crashes. Falls ihr die gehabt habt, das könnte euch helfen.
Auch wieder Neues von Uwe Boll. Ja, irgendwie habe ich immer die Uwe Boll News. Ich bin ja mittlerweile so mit dem. Ja. Und zwar ist ja Far Cry nicht der neueste Film von ihm, sondern der neueste Film, beziehungsweise der Film, der danach kommt, der nennt sich Tunnel Rats und beziehungsweise Tunnel Rats 1968. Und es wird ein Spiel dazu geben. Und das ist ja an sich noch nicht so besonders, aber die Reihenfolge ist umgekehrt, denn erst kommt der Film und auf diesem Film basierend wird es ein Spiel geben. Und jetzt kommt der Knaller. Uwe Boll wird dieses Spiel entwickeln. Ja, er wird also unter die Spieleentwickler gehen und es wird ein Ego-Shooter und Tunnel Rats, das ist ja der Begriff für die Soldaten im Vietnamkrieg, die in die Tunnel der Vietcongs gegangen sind und die quasi in Anführungsstrichen gesäubert haben. Also wirklich der wahrscheinlich beschissenste Job von allen beschissenen Jobs, die man im Krieg haben kann. Und darauf wird eben der Film basieren, Tunnel Rats, und das Spiel dann auch und wird folgerichtig dann auch auf der Vietcong-Engine laufen. Ja, also es gibt auch einen Trailer jetzt schon zum Spiel, den könnt ihr euch natürlich bei uns auf der Website angucken. Kann man sich schon mal vormerken. Uwe Bolls neuester Film und neuestes Spiel Tunnel Rats.
Das neueste Command & Conquer 3 erwartet uns ja hoffentlich noch in diesem Jahr. Und während es schon erste Videos, Bilder und auch Betas gibt, erscheint jetzt nochmal ein neuer Trailer. Ist aber kein Gameplay-Trailer, sondern etwas ganz anderes. Schaut euch das mal eben schnell rein.
Third time the charm. 2.
Remix.
Third time the charm.
Nice play.
Third time the charm.
3.
Do you think you can handle it?
All your base arm. All your base arm. All your base arm. All your base arm belong to us. God.
Battle Bears.
God.
Chew on that.
God. Armored Dolphin.
So kennt man Command & Conquer, absolut trashig.
Wir sind schon fertig,
Ja,
aber jetzt
wir
kommt
machen jetzt weiter.
Sonic Chronicles. Viel Spaß.